who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training podcast. I am your slightly impaired host, Bill. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Audra.
All right, ladies, we have a guest, and to the happiness of very nearly the entire world, I'm not going to talk a whole lot because I can't. But who's our guest?
This is Queers Shifting Gears. And I'd like to introduce Tim, Cliff, Andrew, and hopefully soon Ace.
Yes. Hello. Hello.
Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having us.
I think you guys have been on before. I know Tim has because different haircut, same voice. Cliff, you were on, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on last time.
Okay, and Andrew, you're playing super secret spy soldier because you don't have a video, so I'm not sure you've been on.
Correct. Yeah. Trying to get the video to work, but yeah. So I'm new to the team, so I'm playing a little bit of catch up. So I'm new to the pod also.
All right, excellent. So if I work from memory, I think we had Tim on when he was delusional and thinking this was a good idea before he even tried.
You are a little bit delusional because I was on the podcast only after our
it was
first
after.
race.
Okay, that was where.
We met well beforehand when I was like,
yes.
"Ooh, this is exciting and fun," and then it turned out to still be exciting and fun, just a little bit more challenging.
Well, we got to the answer I was looking for. I couldn't remember if it was before or after your first race. Oh, because we had so many text messages back and forth, like, "How do I tie my shoes? What is breathing?"
Yes,
basic things.
We took this team under our wing because they were what we were when we first started out. They had a ton of questions, and they had just gotten their new car, well, their race car.
I think they were working on their car,
right?
First.
Oh, yeah. And then they went through the whole process of trying to build a paddock, and then what do they need and how to get started. And we helped them for their first race, which was earlier this year. No, was it this year?
Yep, it was April and pit race.
Yeah.
And then we did that first race. Everything that could have gone wrong that we were able to handle went wrong. Anything more and we wouldn't have been able to handle it, but we managed to come out successful. And then we had our second race in October at Summit Point.
So can we back it up a little bit? I kind of want to hear what started you on this. Like, how did you find lemons? How did this all come about?
Hookers and blow.
I first heard about lemons.
Ignore him.
That wasn't it.
Yeah, it's not hard to ignore him.
most people do. The smart ones do.
I personally heard about lemons through the TV show Roadkill. That was my first exposure to it, but it was still never something I'd actually thought of actually doing. But then I got invited to a race by my friend Chris, who is on the Ask Me About Your Purity Test Score team. They run an Eclipse, and he invited me about 4 years ago. And I just showed up to pit race, and I was like, wow, this is crazy, racing, cool, oh my gosh, race cars, like, what are these weird cars? And then the second year he invited me again, and this time I was like, how did you guys even do this? Like, what are you guys even doing? How do you manage this? And then the third year I was like, oh my gosh, how do you share ownership? How do you know who brings parts? What are the things? And like the more logistics. But really what actually got me into it was I moved from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which has wonderful driving roads, mountains nearby, everything, to Northern Ohio, which is flat, flat, flat. And I couldn't get my driving fix. And I bought a driving sim, still couldn't get the fix. So I was like, maybe this racing thing might be for me. And let's go see, and how bad can it be? if it's not so expensive. But that's where I started at least. Um, Andrew and Cliff, I think I mentioned it to you. I don't know if you heard about it before me.
Oh, I had
Yeah,
been
I did.
following Lemons for a really long time. At least 10 years, I'd been watching the race recaps on YouTube, kind of wishing and hoping that someday the opportunity would strike me and I'd try to get friends interested, but nothing ever really panned out. And then, so yeah, when you approached me with this, like, what, a year ago, it was kind of like, oh, I kind of have to do this now.
See, I learned about lemons, I think, through that same roadkill video where they couldn't even complete one lap, and then came back a few years later to see if they could get 25 or 24 laps of lemons. And since then, I've just been following it. I think hilariously enough, I was trying to get a team together in Texas when you had messaged me and was like, "Hey, can you talk me out of buying a race car?" And I said, "No, but if you do buy it, I'll drive." And that's how we
Yeah.
got here.
Yeah. Cliff was the first person to volunteer to be on my team. I ended up like telling a bunch of people. I didn't tell any of my close friends in the area that I was buying a race car because I was like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna get it yet. Like, I don't know if the deal is gonna go through or anything. Like, so I don't want people signing up and then disappointing them. Like, who knows what's gonna happen? So I'm like, I'll talk to Cliff. Like, he's a distant person. Like, he can be good on advice. He's amazing at advice. Like, there's no way he's gonna like feel obligated to join my team because he lives far away. And he was the first person to be like, I'm in. I was like, holy shit, really?
Hmm.
I didn't even know what the
was
car was. You had just said,
No.
I'm looking at a race car. Your direct message was, can you talk me out of buying this?
Yes. I had all the reasons to buy one. I had none of the reasons not to.
well, in car world, it means talk me into it because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it, and then shortly after I attended, joined the Facebook group and everything, got to talking, and then a team invited me out to pit race for a Lucky Dog event where just to like shadow them, be on their crew, help with refueling. And that's where I met Bill and Vicky. We shared a garage together, and then they just started talking, and I was just like, hey, this is where I'm planning on going, but any advice from anyone? And I got so much advice that weekend and even more.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's awesome.
And stickers.
And
And
stickers.
stickers. And then we just took them under our wing. They're like the baby
Yep.
birds. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and we started
No, there's no better place to be.
helping them
Nope.
out to get them on their way.
Well,
Yeah.
if you remember, the reason he got so much advice from us that weekend is because our car was levitating on jack stands the entire weekend. So we had
It
nothing to do
was.
besides give them advice, as our car pretended to be the DeLorean without the 88 miles an hour part and just sit there and hover.
Yes, it was still working on that BMW. It was the BMW. It was a BMW.
Yeah.
Still working the gremlins on the BMW.
Mhm.
So,
Indeed.
yeah, that's how that went.
Did any of you have driving experience before this? Tim, you said you got a sim. This is so you went out there wheel to wheel racing, no track, no autocross, no anything. You just boom right into it.
For me, I had a little bit of track experience through a prior employer, but
Mhm.
it was not like racing or anything. I worked for the self-driving car company in Pittsburgh. And so we got to throw around an 8,000-pound Volvo, and I mean, on a track, and that was pretty fun. But it was not racing. It was like, learning how to get lift off oversteer on a 9-seater Volvo. Awesome. But no, that was pretty much the limit of it. I had a sports car, I had multiple sports cars, street driving type stuff. And then I bought a sim that was a full motion rig, and like that was hugely helpful and still is hugely helpful. Um, but that was the limit of my experience. I did like 1 or 2 track days before the event. The first one was purely just to see, does my car work? Because it's not street legal. I literally like talked to them like, hey, can I just drive around your parking lot at the racetrack first and then decide if I want to pay? And they're like, absolutely. And it like worked. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go out on track and just drive slowly. And it worked out because only 3 people showed up to the track day that day. So it was essentially an empty track for most of the day. And I was able to like test the car and start to get faster. But no, just like 2 track days and then get on track. I think Cliff ended up having more experience than me. Didn't you say
No.
you did autocross or something? Or
No, no, not the slightest. The closest I'd ever gotten before getting behind the wheels of that track, live in pit race, was I had been on a track once on a motorcycle.
Oh, on a
didn't you do
motorcycle.
the
On a
SAE? Or
motorcycle.
was that Andrew that did the SAE?
So I had some autocross experience. I had an old coworker that bet me that his new Corolla would be faster than my Mazda 6. So we had to go settle that bet and started autocrossing. And then that I got bit by the bug and went out and bought an old NB Miata and then a second NB Miata and then long story short, I now work for Mazda corporate, so I'm a big Mazda guy, but I only had autocross experience, so no like actual track experience, no track days. I've always wanted to, but never really got around to it. So this was my first time on an actual racetrack. Actually, well, second time. We had done a practice day like a month or 2 months beforehand.
Yep.
So other than we did a track day and then the race day at some point, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of have to bring it around to what track did we end up racing at with you guys, this latest one?
So this latest one, we were at Summit Point Motorsports Park. That
Mm-hmm.
was what, at the end of October that we
Mm-hmm.
ended up doing that, and that was fantastic. We actually didn't know if Cliff was going to be able to join us until what, like 3 weeks before the event. It was finally like Cliff
Uh,
was like, "I can do it."
He kind of
it
came in skidding in
was
sideways, didn't he?
Yeah,
it
it was great because we didn't
12
even know
business
where it
days.
was. It was like, I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Baltimore." Like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be near DC. I can just pop by my parents' place in Baltimore." It's like, I guess you can, because I'm worried about like having to drive to the airport like a couple hours, pick Cliff up, that sort of thing. But
So what was the weather there? What would you say? Was it
it was night. It was cold as heck at night, but it warmed up pretty nicely during the day, which I
right?
appreciated.
Now, were
Yeah,
you
it was like no rain, no nothing. It was really clean all weekend, which was a pleasant surprise for me at least.
Now were you staying in the van? Because at the same time that all this was going on, he decided to really go head first into all of it and do a camper van. He bought a van and he converted it so he can haul his trailer with his van. So we're not saying he's an overachiever, but he's a little bit of an overachiever. So did you end up staying in your van or did you end up staying in the trailer?
Oh, I ended up staying in the van all weekend. It was great. I had abundance of power after I realized I had disconnected my solar panels while driving out. So, like the first night, I was conservative on power and I didn't use my space heater. But then night 2 and 3, it's like, oh yeah, I had heated blankets, space heater. I had all the power and electricity. I was running our quick jacks and charging all of our stuff all weekend.
hmm
We had an abundant, it was easy peasy, and all of the tools were in the van as well, so I could lock up at night. All of our spare parts were in there. We brought out the tables, got camp set up pretty nicely. It was
hmm
easy. And then we also had a spare RV for everyone else on the crew because I was not sharing a bed with 3 other people.
hmm
And
So
Andrew needed a place for cooking.
yeah, yeah, which he did a phenomenal job. He really did. His food was really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, let's see. What car are you driving? What car is this car?
So we got the car that was previously with Yuri in the Great Globs of Oil, and it is a 1996 Nissan Maxima. Got a V6, 5-speed manual, and it is way faster than I ever intended to get a race car. But it has been wonderful for us. It has been extremely reliable. The only issues that we've had with it are issues that I kind of maybe caused. But like not necessarily caused, but I just didn't realize. Um, but no, we were racing that. It was perfectly reliable all weekend at Summit Point. It was flawless all weekend long.
Do you want to talk about the issues that you addressed
Oh,
and fixed before? I mean, clearly
oh
you must have
yeah.
fixed them if you had no problem
Yeah.
with them.
I mean, this was so when I got it from Yuri, he told me all of the things that were like problematic with it, which was just like the axle was completely destroyed. The CV boot had been torn for like 10 races, and so it finally like seized up or whatever.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up replacing both axles, discovered that the ball joints were also toast. So I replaced the control arms, but the control arms are custom that Yuri made. So I had to find a welding shop that would rebend them. Or, well, I told them, hey, can you cut and weld these? And they're like, no, we're going to just bend them rather than weld them, which was like, great. And then they welded the old ones. So got new ball joints, new bearings, had to fix an exhaust, all that sort of thing. There's lots of little fixes and then small things. And then 3 days before Summit, oh, it also needed a new steering rack, and there was a small hole in the block that turns out was just like an intentional thing that breaks when it gets cold, so it doesn't put a hole in the block. It's like this gasket or whatever. Anyways, long story short, I didn't replace the gaskets in the transmission when I replaced the axles, and turns out you're supposed to do that. Wasn't in any of the manuals or videos that I watched. People just were popping in and out axles. So I didn't just realize that the all winter long the car was just leaking fluids because, well, it does. So it was leaking steering fluid, it was leaking water from the engine, it was leaking oil from the oil pan, and also turns out it was leaking transmission fluid. I knew about most of them and I got them all fixed, but I didn't realize the transmission fluid was leaking until like a week before the event. And so then the axle was stuck, and we showed up to the pit race in April with a stuck axle, and it wouldn't come out. And it was a whole thing. We spent the entire test and tune day getting it out and working it out. But we were able to run pit race all weekend long without any more mechanical issues from the car, which was fantastic.
Oh, that's
And then just
great.
like general maintenance stuff between just like changed oil,
Mhm.
checked everything over, took it out for another test and tune, and it was fine. So then we did Summit Point. So
Can
pretty
I
psyched
just,
about it.
I'm just going to interject because this is going to blow your mind. How much knowledge did you have about cars before you started?
Theoretical knowledge. I watched a lot of YouTube, but I had
This
intended
is
to
why I love
learn.
this guy.
So my first fun car that I bought was a 1959 MG. And the goal was to learn how to work on a car while also enjoying a sports car. And I was like, let me get something simple, minimal electronics, minimal everything. It's a simple car. I know it's going to break down, and there's tons of resources out there. Most reliable car I've ever owned. I had it for 2.5 years, and the only thing that went wrong was the tail light blew. Like literally, it was the most reliable thing I've ever owned, which is unheard of. But yeah, so this is the car that I've worked the most on and learned how to do everything on.
I tell you,
That's pretty awesome.
that blows
Yeah.
my mind. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So anyway, how did the race perform for you guys on Saturday? What was your impressions of the track? How did your car perform? How about Cliff? How about you guys? What do you think?
At Summit Point,
Yes, let's talk about Summit Point. Tell us some of your experience at Summit Point on Saturday.
it was a fun track. I I had done some sim racing beforehand, so I kind of knew the layout already and kind of what to expect in terms of some of the blind corners and some of the elevation changes. But I was not really prepared for how fast that track actually is. That was a like being able to call out corners in like through the radio or getting back out and like talking like, oh look at coming into turn 4 into 5, like we have to do X, Y, and Z, and having the rest of the team know me, that was a lot of fun. That was it's that was it was a good track. I have no complaints about it. Just way faster than I was expecting.
I think a common thread that we all said was it was easy to learn the track, but hard to master. Like, I think that's what you said.
Yeah, but I said it was easy to learn the track. It was a nightmare to master.
Yeah.
It is. That was, probably the weirdest learning curve of any circuit that I've ever been on, since like it requires way more commitment to get a good lap time than I think any of us were expecting, since like every turn flows so nicely through every other turn. And slowing down on accident in one turn means that your speeds to the next five are impacted a lot more than I was expecting them to be, which was great learning experience
Hmm.
of just what to expect.
It's interesting. Andrew, did you have a comment on that?
Yeah. So, well, for me, Saturday, I mean, I was just so overwhelmed, to be honest with you. Just with, 'cause I had never been on a track with that many other cars before, especially like I only done one track day. So, my main goal was like, I want to be safe, but I don't want to wreck the car. I don't want to ruin anybody else's weekend. So, I was just trying to do my best to drive predictably and also just kind of learning what that meant at the same
Mm.
time. So, and then on my very first lap out on Saturday, that Ford Focus got in a really bad accident, and it happened right in front of me on my very first lap.
Oh no.
So,
Oh
yeah,
my
I
gosh.
was like threading the needle through these like two cars, and it was like dust everywhere. I couldn't see anything. So yeah, I somehow made it through that. And then after that, I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. It was kind of a confidence booster to make it through an accident like that and not have any damage. But then I think Sunday is when I really got to actually learn the track.
Hmm.
So I followed Jen around, not to jump ahead, but I followed Jen around for, I don't know, 10, 15 laps. It was a really long time. But just doing that repetition of following her and her line, that's really what taught me the track. And then like later that day, I went out and put out I was really happy with my lap times after that, after actually getting to learn the track. So yeah, it was a fun track. Really,
Hmm.
really long straightaway. I actually spun too. Friday was the practice day, and one of the first couple laps, I spun on the first corner because I just didn't realize how long that straight is and how much speed you're carrying at the end, and
Hmm.
you need to really get on the brakes early. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's a very, very sharp turn. I actually spun on that also. Um, but it is I don't think it has a lift to really slow you down, or not a whole lot of it to slow you down, like as some of the other tracks would.
right. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, definitely. And I was still kind of learning the car, and the brakes are so different than from any kind of street car. I mean, you really have to stomp on them hard. So, kind of learning the brake limits of the car too. And we did a track day at Nelson's Ledges, and that was so invaluable to learn the car, learn the grip levels and the handling limits of it before actually doing a race day. So, I think that really helped, but obviously, it wasn't quite enough. So, still had a little bit of a
You
spin.
guys did so good this time around. I really have to say that, and it's all like a learning process. The whole thing is a learning process. I mean, for your second race on a track, that's amazing. It really is. Because the thing was, if I remember, and if I remember correctly, Tim, were people using you as a person to follow to learn the track?
Cliff.
Yeah. So the reason he's calling me out is we actually had on, it was either Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning, someone had approached me to ask if we had a list of drivers up on the whiteboard so that they would know when to send out their drivers, since we were so easy to spot and were evidently fast enough or just smooth enough that they wanted to send people out behind us and to follow, for others to learn the track. So yeah, I think we were,
You made an
take that as a good
impression.
compliment. Yeah.
Hard to miss us.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of clean driving that weekend, the whole time. I mean, I don't feel like anyone
Hmm.
was going crazy out there. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also, I think with this particular race is because that there was a race the weekend before. So I don't think that the track was as packed as a normal racetrack would be. Bill,
Well,
I
how
mean,
many
there were 100 cars that started the weekend.
wow, that's still a lot. It didn't feel
Yeah, it
like
was
it.
101 cars started the weekend, and about, I think, 74 finished.
Okay.
So it was really good racing. Like everyone was extremely predictable. I think there was only one car that I was like, you're a moron. And the rest of the time it was like, okay, you're clearly still learning this track. But they were also like, I don't know where I'm going, but as soon as I see that you're behind me, I'm getting over and letting you pass me. Like that sort of learning the track. Like I just screwed up this curve. Oh no, I didn't expect to suddenly go that way. Like totally fine.
Which
It's
is
predictable.
surprising because there must have been like 30 or 40 rookies at the rookie meeting too.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
a lot there.
There was a lot of new drivers that were
Wow.
there.
And the track is narrow.
So huge highlight to have people following you to learn the track. What are the highlights from Saturday?
Saturday, I think one of the biggest highlights is that it was everyone got in the car and laid down clean laps. We didn't have any issues. We were able, it was sort of like starting from scratch again. I think we sort of had our first race was a big reality check and also a fragility check. I think we were, a lot of us were like riding high on like, we're invincible, the car's invincible. Like we came from really low lows, but then it's still like car's invincible. And it's like, no, the car's not invincible. And so we were performing a lot more like a team that like understood of like, we were talking about corners, like just that aspect of like, I had a printed out track map and we were able to talk about corners and be like, hey, you guys are shifting down to second. Nah, you don't, like what Cliff was saying of like track was way faster than expected. I never used second on the entire track. And for the first day, I'm telling everyone else on the team, you guys don't need to use second here or there, just go faster. And they're like, what are you, an idiot? And by the end of the weekend, they're all using third. So like, but we were having those conversations. We were also having conversations about immediately like, hey, fuel stops, here's what we can do better. We weren't prepared in this way, or like, let's like our fuel stops were understanding how they work. We were also very good about being conservative. That was the biggest win of like not just conservative with the car and like being gentle on it, but also conservative in, hey, everyone does half an hour or so to start. Like we came in 41st place, I think, even though we were running nonstop all weekend long.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because we were coming into the paddock for every driver change. We didn't want to feel pressured to do a driver change. We wanted to be super safe all weekend. So when we were doing like we did 7 driver changes on Saturday because nobody did more than 45 minutes that day. I think if that like my math is correct. I think Andrew did like 20 minutes the first time, then like half an hour, then 45 minutes. Cliff, me, and Ace all did like 45 minutes and then another 45 minutes or something like that. But we were still being conservative and like, hey, we were double checking our driver changes. Like, okay, we screwed up that thing. We forgot to start the timer, or we forgot this little thing. And I really liked that we were being so, for me, the biggest victory was we were being cautious and conservative and not at all, hey, we're invincible. It's like we are so learning and ready to master this just to get competent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that repetition too really helped us like the next day to kind of get a little bit quicker at it. And we still weren't quick Sunday, but just the repetition of doing those driver changes and making sure everything was safe too. I think that kind of helped out a lot later. And also I feel like teamwork too. Like I feel like we really developed a good kind of jive there with working together and making sure we're all doing our parts to make sure that next person gets out there safely. So yeah.
So what's one thing you guys aren't doing yet is hot pit stops. So what do you guys feel like you need to do to be able to get out there? Because that's costing you a lot, actually. But and I mean, that's not the point right now, but
Yeah.
it's like the next step in progression that I see that you haven't done yet.
There's a very simple step one for us that would make hot pits way easier. And that will be our radios. Our current setup is not conducive whatsoever to being changed with gloved hands. And the few times we did do hot pits, that was I think the single biggest sticking point was just our radios didn't work quite right when they were just finicky little beasts.
Mm-hmm.
If they worked great. But getting the plugs, getting things plugged in, getting the headset plugged in with gloved hands was just not. It was just an exercise in frustration.
Send me
Yeah.
some pictures of the radio because that doesn't make sense.
We got it all sorted out. We
Okay.
Yeah.
we
We're
have a
dropping that for
solution
next
now.
time.
Yeah,
But
we
that was
already tested a new solution and it's amazing and we're
Yeah.
all in on it.
yeah.
Um, but then the other thing, like in addition to the radios, was we weren't perfect. We were still
Mhm.
making mistakes. Every driver swap we did, there was a mistake. It was either I think one of the ones like forgetting to check the timer, or hey, nobody checked. I always forget to do my stupid helmet strap. Always. And like nobody checked that. Or one time my shoulder strap wasn't over my Hans. Um I think we had it was just all of these little mistakes. And it's not just like, yeah, we know we're gonna make mistakes and that's why we're having people double check, but it was also like we had a visible list on the car that we made, and then that was our agreement to ourselves. It's like we're not in a rush here. We're not here to win. So like who cares about what place we're getting? Let's take it as slow as possible and get through these things and be so overly communicative.
What timer?
We just had like the little kitchen timer in the car so that like, hey, when you come back in when you see 45 minutes on here,
Oh, that timer.
just to
Okay.
let the driver know so we don't have to worry about that. So it was just like starting that timer. It's like half of our drivers couldn't reach over and start it themselves. I was lucky enough that I could.
So, what would you say, overall, for each of you, what would you say that your goals were for the weekend? Each one of you might have had one or two.
We went over them at the start of the weekend, and that was another thing that we did amazing, was going over our goals and stuff at the start of the weekend. I know what mine is. I'm happy to go first but I know.
Well, go ahead.
Mine was a big one because our first race at Pitt didn't go as well. And then also I was just struggling with the anxiety of running race team and like all of the amount of time and money that I've invested into all of this. Um, I needed this. My goal was for this race to go better than Pitt race and specifically to find the joy in this event. I needed to have fun. I'm not a competitive person. I don't give a shit about winning anything. Um, I'm not here to like surmount great challenges. I'm not one of those people that just suffers for six feeling of satisfaction. I can get that, but that's not fun. And I just wanted to have fun and find fun this weekend because I'm investing all of this time and money. I would like to enjoy the big race when it finally comes up. And that was my simple goal, and I was able to achieve it.
Hmm, good one. How about you, Cliff? I think Cliff froze.
Yeah.
How about you? Oh,
My
there
bad.
he
It's
is.
slow.
Yep.
Hello, hello.
How about what was your goals?
Um, Mine was mostly to help Tim. Like this was another one where like we needed a clean race. We needed to walk out of this going, this is something we can keep doing.
Mhm.
Personally, I just wanted to get somewhere close to my sim times, which didn't really happen, but
That never happens for you.
no, the reality has been firmly hammered into me now. But yeah, no, the main goal of this race was to a clean race. That was my goal, both in pits and on the track, and
You
to
did
do
a
whatever
hot
I
pit
could
with
to
us
help.
because we were down people.
Yes. Assisting was the secondary goal, but that kind of became one rather than starting as one.
How about you, Andrew? This was your very first race. First of all, before we do goals, what did you think of lemons?
Oh, I loved lemons so much. It was everything I hoped it would be and more. And by the way, too, I have to mention your theme of Airplane. Airplane is one of my favorite movies ever. You guys totally killed it. I think one of my best favorite moments is during the rookie meeting. You were doing the whole bit with the stewardess, and you brought up the barf bags. And I think it was at that moment that Judge Eric made you stop because everyone was howling. It was so distracting. So yeah, needless to say, I love lemons. I love the sense of humor, the camaraderie. It was the whole thing was amazing and fantastic. Um, so yeah, so glad to be a part of it. And I look forward to your future themes. If I could make a suggestion,
Mhm.
Austin Powers, if it hasn't been done yet, I think Austin Powers, you guys could kill that one too.
It is on the list.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
What is the blue zone for?
The Blue Zone?
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. From
Oh, sorry.
Airplane.
Goodness.
Sorry.
Oh, the Blue Oh, sorry, the loading dock.
All weekend
Uh,
long.
It's a quiz that we ask, and people
I think
don't know
I
the
kind of
answer.
blocked it out from because it was just so constant.
It was
It's
so
background noise.
constant.
So, did you walk in with a goal, Andrew?
Yeah, so I wanted to obviously stay safe. I didn't want to stuff the car or ruin our team's weekend or anybody else's weekend. Because I don't know if you remember, but at pit race they had a little bit of an incident with a previous team member, so I really didn't want to be the new guy that stuffed the car.
You didn't
And
you
then
didn't want to be the red shirt from
exactly. Yeah. And then, just wanted to learn a little bit about racecraft too, which I think I fortunately accomplished all of those things. So it worked out.
Nice.
Yeah.
The key
It
is
was
not to try to
successful
learn.
for everyone on every front. Like everyone's goals that they came in, and I know I could speak to Ace of like what his goals were for the weekend of like he was able to succeed on them as well. Everyone came in with the best set of goals. It was awesome.
I think you guys did good, and Andrew mentioned trying to learn a little bit of racecraft. The teams that usually get into a lot of trouble are when they try to learn a lot of racecraft in their first race. That usually doesn't go well.
No, my
Yes.
racecraft goal was get comfortable passing people again.
Mhm. I think also some of the problems that arrive with some teams is that they're arriving to race and win, but they haven't been on a track before. So that's where some
Well,
of them get in trouble.
I think where I saw at least I think I saw Cliff have the same visceral physical reaction that I did when Bill was like, "Yeah, you didn't do any hot pits. That cost you a lot that weekend." And my first response to that was like, "No, actually, we gained so much from that. We didn't cost anything. We gained so much learning, so much teamwork, so much."
Mhm.
All of these things, like we were so successful. Who cares about coming high up in the ranks?
Mhm. You guys learned a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the car being so reliable, I mean, I think that's really the key to this. And, as a newbie, it just seems like if you have a good car that's running right and you're able to stay out there, that's your key to success, right?
Yes.
Slaps,
Mhm.
slaps, slaps. I liked to tell my team all the time of like there was a Passat at pit race that had a diesel. It was a diesel engine and it ran diesel fuel all weekend and it won simply because they never refueled. They just did a hot pit driver stop. They would drive into town in the evening, fuel up on diesel, and then come back. And they would do the full day Saturday and full day Sunday, and they just won purely out of they only stopped to driver change.
Mhm.
And
And
we
they were
could have
like a
been,
slow car.
Very
yeah, we
slow.
could have been much faster in our car, but I think we were all kind of babying the car, especially the transmission. We think the synchros are going a little bit on thirds, so we were babying it. I was double clutching a lot, so that slowed me down a little bit.
Were you guys having transmission issues, sort of?
There was some
Ah.
metallic-y flake in the fluid, right,
So
Tim?
yeah, so I didn't actually, for me, it was like at our last race, everyone drove the car like a race car,
Yes.
and they drove the shit out of it, which is like great. But at the same time, there was like, for me, when I told people, hey, drive it gently, my definition of drive it gently is different from everyone else's different of drive it gently. And that was one of the learnings from the last race and something we came in understanding a lot more differently. And one of those moments was when I did a transmission fluid change after the race and I shared the photos with the team and there was metal glitter in it.
Mhm.
Same amount that there was when I drained the transmission previously, but I didn't have those photos or those things. I'm like, guys, you're not being gentle enough. We need to be more gentle. Like between that and like the other thing that we talked about as a team was like really rein in the RPM limiter of like don't over rev the car. Um, And so those were things that, like, from the previous race of like we were being a little bit too hard on the car. And I think there was a moment in our group conversation about the glitter, where like the team started getting like, "Ooh, how can we solve this problem? Well, we can do hardened this. We can do transmission swap. We could. Ooh, there's these hardened gear things from over here." I'm like, in the reality, those things cost more than the car. Uh, we would just do a manual, get a transmission out of a junkyard. And then somebody responded to that, being like, yeah, that makes sense, but then we would probably have to baby it because it's a junkyard trans. And my response to that was, we already have a junkyard trans. You should be babying it. And I think I saw that click in a lot of people's heads. And so all weekend long, like, yeah, everyone was being really gentle. And turns out we had completely shattered motor mounts. So we were struggling to get into third and second, especially on curves, which makes sense because the motor was at least an inch. It could move, the transmission side mount could move 2.5 inches, maybe 3 inches up and down, left and right for the entire weekend. So I assume going around corners, it was moving and making it hard to get into third.
Third to fourth. The
We
third
had
to
a
fourth
similar
come in
problem.
between.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We did.
So, and yeah, but so like everyone was being really gentle on the car, which like cost a lot of time. I think I did a couple laps in anger on test day to just like on test day, it was like go out, baby the car. Okay, it doesn't work. Then go out and beat the shit out of the car and make sure it still works. And like it can handle that, but then everyone was really good all weekend, just driving it gently. And like, yeah, of course we had a few mess ups and stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I don't know. You had no problem passing me. The car is quick and it's smooth. It
the
is.
car is very quick. It has a lot of torque, and I didn't realize how quick it was. I think this race and then maybe pit race coming out of the bowl, being able to pass people on hills was just pretty spectacular.
The amount of grip is amazing too at that thing. I mean, it has really, really. I can't remember how wide the tires are, but yeah.
Yeah, what tires are you running?
We're running RS4s.
Okay.
I can figure out how wide the tires are.
Yeah, weren't you say that there was a tire thing that was going on with you guys?
Uh yeah, we goofed on the tires.
I think you guys were talking about like having to stretch your. Were you the one that wanted to stretch the rims, or was that somebody else?
No, that's somebody else.
No, okay. No, it was somebody else. I know who it was. Sorry.
But we
We
did
did
screw up
have
our
some
tires.
fun. We after pit race, since we had eaten those tires a little bit, we decided to do a tire rotation. And then Saturday to Sunday, we decided to do another tire rotation and then swap them back to the exact same way they were at the end of pit race.
Why?
There was a
Uh,
miscommunication of how to rotate the tires.
Oh
So
no.
what was supposed to be the front left tire at pit race was supposed to go on the front right, and it ended up on the front left again. And we've
Oh.
been monitoring our tire stuff, so like it was fine for all of the weekend, but it was fine because, well, not all of the weekend. So Saturday we ran the tires normal, and then Sunday we did a tire rotation in the morning, and where the front left tire ended up being the one that was burnt the most of on pit race. Ace went out first. He's one of our fast drivers. Totally fine. Then Cliff and Andrew went out, and they set some quick times as well. But I would say Ace and I are consistently like quick. Cliff, I think you're like just below us, and then Andrew was driving gentle, except also you got some good lap times too.
I got a tad. I don't know what you would call it. I got the curse this week, that weekend, where
Oh
every time I
yeah,
went
you
out,
all.
something happened. In my hours behind the wheel, I think I only had an hour and a half actually on track.
Yeah, you got a lot of red flag.
A lot of
And
fires.
yeah, there were a lot of fires. And then I went out, and by my third lap, I immediately knew something was wrong because the car going around right-hand corners was just chunk, 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 chunk. I was like, do we have like a chunk out of our tire or something? Got the car back in. Nope. I was like, let's check the pressures, whatever, go back out. And I knew, and the tires were just wasted because all weekend long, you could brake as hard as you want in that car and not lock the tires up. And for the first time, I locked the tires up. and they were warm. The track was warm. It was perfect conditions, and I've never locked the tires on that car. So I knew something was wrong. And then after post discussion, we learned that the wrong tire went on the wrong spot, and that's fine.
And that was on Saturday?
That was Sunday. So
That was
Sunday afternoon. So like the last hour and a half of racing, I had to go a couple seconds slower. Oh no, like that's fine. Like, it's fine, whatever.
So-
but yeah, we're running 255s.
Overall, for the weekend, how do you think overall the entire race event went? Not just yours, but in general. What did you guys think about the whole summit racing event? What do you think, Cliff?
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I really hope they invite us back because that was such an awesome track. And
Yeah.
like 95% of everything was just like, hey, it's a Lemons event. We're driving the cheap cars, we're throwing them around, we're all inexperienced, we're going to slide off the tracks, that's all good. And then there were the fires.
Yeah, there were the car fires. How many did we have, Bill?
4.
Were there 4 car fires?
There were
Yeah, I
4
think
car
Four
fires
car
and
fires
one
and
flip.
yeah, one really bad flip. But one car got back out on track.
One car did
Yeah.
come back on track.
And one deer.
And one deer. Yes. And
There
one
was
deer.
multiple deer by the time it was done, but yes.
So honestly, outside of the extreme ends, like this was a pretty chill race weekend from what I could see. Like
Oh no, Cliff froze. Cliffy froze. Cliffy froze.
It's quite cold tonight.
there weren't like I was paying attention just my network is starting to have some fun.
That's all right. We got you back.
We noticed.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
Go ahead. So
Yeah.
we left off at the deer and the overall track and having us
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah. But I think 95% of everything seemed to be incredibly minor. And like, it just seemed like a good, relatively clean race. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't hear any real complaints. The track officials I never heard yelling, so I consider that a good thing.
They were running around on the carts, though. Stay behind the
They-
line. Stay behind the red line.
Uh,
Not the white
they-
line,
they
the
were
red
doing
Yeah,
that.
you
line.
gotta that would have been an opportunity to re-record your audio of the red line is for not parking in.
It was
That would have
pretty
been good,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you learn from the last race that you applied to this race mostly? From your entire experience at Pitt to your experience here, I mean, you guys seem like a completely different team. I just want to say that. But what did you mostly apply?
I think the biggest thing that our team applied overall was purely learned out of just actually like experiencing the weekend. Like I came in with more experience because I'd been on a crew. And so talking ahead of the weekend, we were like, okay, like at pit race, everyone had a role. You're gonna go get fuel, you're gonna be in charge of this, you're gonna be in charge of food, you're gonna be in charge of that. And everyone was like, yeah, I can do that. But I don't think anyone actually understood how much that role was going to suck out of them or how much time it was going to take of like fuel, I got to do that immediately or else it's going to get forgotten. Or like food, oh no, I have to start cooking way hours ahead. And I think it's not that we took our roles more seriously or took them harder. It was just, I think we understood what was truly expected, the amount of work that, and just okay, once you take that role, I've got it. That's my job.
Mhm.
And I think there was a lot more of that sharing of work. People like really took on that ownership of that work a lot better.
Yeah, we
better,
definitely
but
had a
just like
lot
more
of
strongly.
we had a lot of team chemistry between us, and we were just always looking out for each other too, and like bugging each other, like, "Hey, did you eat lunch yet? I didn't see you eat lunch. I'm gonna get you some food right now." You know, that sort of thing. So I feel like that really went a long way in making sure we were all kind of taken care of.
That was one we learned from pit race as well.
Yeah.
2 people got in the car without having eaten lunch.
That's a tough
Crime.
day.
We can only make it. We can't make you eat it.
So, okay. So how about we do the traditional, the highlight, the low light, and ugly, what went bad, your
Or
story time.
or the good, bad, and the ugly
The good,
without
bad, and the ugly.
five
Okay, the
minutes of lead
good.
up.
It was overall the good.
I the number of people who's being out in the paddocks with everyone else, the number of people who stopped by to grab stickers or just chat, that was spectacular.
Really?
Honestly, the highlight of the event for me was just like listen, like watching, talking to it felt like every team of just like, yeah, that's cool. Oh, your representation, you're quick shifting gears. That is awesome. We need more of this. Or like y'all are really fast on track. We're trying to follow you. Like that was spectacular. That was the
Mm-hmm.
good.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
That is awesome. How about you, Andrew? What was your highlight?
Oh man, uh, I really enjoyed your theme again. I'm sorry, but it just you guys had me laughing like the whole time. But I guess it just like in general, just the mood of the whole event, like everyone was having such a good time, and it was really infectious. So
Hmm.
I think like that. I guess I underestimated how much fun it was going to be just with everyone there with their own themes, and there were a lot of good ones too, like the Louvre heist guys, like they were amazing. Like that really, yeah, everyone did such a good job with the themes and having a good time, and so that for me was the highlight.
That was ours when we first started out, and that's when we said we found our idiots.
Yes, definitely like-minded idiots.
How about you, Tim?
So my highlight, I mean, I would have to agree with Cliff. I'd have to agree with Andrew. What we talked about of there were so many highlights that weekend, the chemistry, everyone working well together. I think for me, it was twofold of the finding the joy in it and like finding that confidence and joy and it going well so that I can keep doing this because I do enjoy doing it, but I don't do enjoy doing it at the cost. But the thing that got me the most psyched was actually based on a fear I had coming into the weekend. I had seen a video posted on Instagram by the Lemons organization of a Volkswagen Golf spinning out in front of a car and then hitting the car. Like from the dash cam of this like one car, they see the car in front of them spinning, it catches and slams into them inside. And there's no way to predict what way physics is going to catch this car because it's spinning, like the whole NASCAR thing. I had that happen in front of me. The red Ford Thunderbird spun out in front of me, and I picked a side and went full throttle. And I think the following lap, I was screaming nonstop in joy because I'd survived my literal fear of what happened. It happened right in front of me, to me, and I survived and came out on the other side, and we still had a working car.
That's awesome.
That
That
is a
really
good
is awesome.
story. So does
Yeah.
that hit the bad for you too?
No, let me think about the bad. I mean, come back to me on that one.
Okay.
How about you, Cliff? Was there any low light? Was there any bad, good, bad, ugly? Any bad things?
Uh, Nothing. Honestly, not a lot of bad this weekend. I some annoyances such as not getting as much time out on a live track as I would like, but like that's not really bad. That's just racing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I
It was
mean,
a good
maybe
weekend.
it was a very good weekend. I mean, there's a few things I was sad about, such as watching the other cars leave or other cars having to leave early. But like that's
Mm-hmm.
the name of the game. So it's like
Yeah.
nothing really, nothing bad.
Get any
Mm-hmm.
good stories then?
uh,
I mean, we had a good story from another team.
Yeah.
They had a bad experience that resulted in a good experience for one of our the Chris who invited me to join like the Purity test score. Their first Airbnb night, they basically stayed at a cult. And
What?
this is their guys. I will not tell you the story because you have to have these guys on. But the essence of like is this is somebody that I'm good friends with and I spend all my time with outside. Big dude, strong. He's down for anything crazy, weird. He's our wonderful weird stuff. To see him be uncomfortable and not just like, oh yeah, it was weird, crazy story. It was like weird. I don't feel comfortable going back. So he stayed in our RV the rest of the weekend.
Was that Ace?
No, this is Chris from another team. The asked me
Okay.
about your purity test score.
Oh.
But
Well,
no, that's a
wow.
story. That's an actual story.
What about you, Andrew?
Oh man, I really don't have too many complaints. I guess like the paddock space was like a bit tight, and in our RV situation wasn't like great. I guess like we had some issues with our RV, like not really having a lot of water in it.
Hmm.
But like it's super minor stuff, like just inconveniences. But yeah, other than that, no. I mean, I really didn't have any issues or complaints really. We had a great time.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
we had one thing that was prevented. Who was it? It was one of y'all three that said we leave the keys of all of our pit vehicles or all of our vehicles in the car just in case someone has to move it. One of you said that. I don't know if that was Bill or if it was someone else, but that saved us like big time since I had parked Ace in, and Ace had to go get gas.
Oh.
And I that was like, you know, they had said that. That sounds like a good idea, and just threw my keys on the dash. And yeah, it turned out to save that. Let us run for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. Who's going to
Oh, I
steal
can
your
see that.
car at a race? I mean, let's
yeah.
be honest.
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
know. You'd have to ask
Yeah,
Bill.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do drive a Subaru. They might have wanted the engine.
So, what did you
Who
guys
came up with
learn
that?
this particular weekend that will carry you forward to the next one? Like, what are you going to do differently? What for your next one?
I can tell you it's also our low light that I think the rest of the team missed was our radio comms were a pain all weekend long. We
Hmm.
figured out the solution. Ace got like a professional motorsport grade and it worked flawlessly and perfectly. But the rest of us, the solution we were running before and had kind of worked for us, ended up being a massive pain all weekend long.
Was
And
that the
so that's
Discord?
something. No, so we didn't have to resort to Discord. The Discord is the backup for us, and it worked great. We had to use it in a pit race event. No, it was a combination of the company. We had torn one of the cables that plugs into our headsets, and they sent out, I asked for two replacements. Great. The replacements that they sent me had like around the plug was larger, so it didn't seat itself all the way in the plug hole. So at the start of the weekend, I literally had to carve away all of the plastic down to a tiny little nub. And then the plug was like looser or whatever. So at every driver change, we ended up just duct taping this plug in just onto the helmet, just a piece of duct tape
Terrible.
onto the head, just because that's all it needed. Of like it would stay in there on its own, but if you turned your head the wrong way, it'd slide out a little bit or something. So we just duct taped it on, and it was just a pain. And for some drivers, it picked up a lot of background noise,
Hmm.
even though it's like the mic is noise canceling, not that noise canceling. But Ace actually ended up going and getting a custom radio harness that worked with our radios. We just had to unplug a little bit extra and stuff, and that worked for them flawlessly. So all we need is the new harness, and like there was no background noise. It was wild.
Oh, wow.
So the reason we didn't go with it is because it's motorsport grade. It's like, hey, every driver would have to spend $250 on their own. And coming into this race, I didn't want that. And like,
Hmm.
so like I was like, so we went up with a solution that was like $50 per driver. And it does work. But then there was this screw up and that little thing, and just all these little things that ended up compounding. And we're just like, all right, it's worth the $250. Let's do it.
Hmm.
Oh, that's good. So will that enable you now to try hot pitting at the next one?
I think so. I think we'll probably end up doing some, like maybe on test and tune day, we'll still do driver changes in the paddock, but I think I'm still a proponent of like we can't have any silly mess ups. Once we get a few clean driver swaps and nothing is like safety related that we screw up, yeah, we can do some hot pits. But I think
Well,
also like it being new, we also like Andrew was his first time doing driver changes and stuff, and I think now we found the rhythm. So
Mhm.
I think we'll be able to find it and probably do that.
So
we had a couple of new drivers and we had some stupid safety issues that happened. And one person was caught by the person going, that they check you when you go out to the track. So they came right
Yeah.
back in and we fixed it. And the other one realized it and came right back in and we fixed
Yeah.
it. So, it's not irrecoverable if you have that happen in the hot pit.
Yeah.
it just what it reminds me of is that you're dealing with so much information that it blasts you like a fire hose. And I think that Audra and myself and Bill have gotten to that point when a lot of that stuff is background, so it's automatic. But you guys are in like your second race, so you guys are still getting blasted by the fire hose.
Yeah. And so it's like it's not worth the 10 minutes on track to do a silly mistake. Like we all came in it. We're not here to win. We're just here to get experience. And I did the math at the start of the weekend of like, hey, if we take 10 minutes per driver change in the paddock, this is how much time we get per driver. And the motivation was to talk about black flags. And I did the math of like, okay, assuming best possible scenario, 10 minutes per black flag or 15 minutes per black flag, this is how it impacts the rest of the team of how fewer laps or how fewer time that you're going to get on the track. And that's just like one black flag. Now, if we do the math of second black flag, now we've got a 30-minute penalty and that sort of thing. And here's how it affects everyone. And like looking at it from that perspective, it was like, oh my gosh, I'd rather go 10. Literally, it was compared to, I think I ended up like 3 black flags is equivalent to like 20 seconds a lap slower per lap or something. It
Easily.
was comically slow. What the math ended up being. It was fascinating how painful it would have been to drive slower than the black flag.
That's a very interesting analysis that you dove into there. I don't think we've ever gone that deep on that. That's pretty cool, actually.
Nobody listens.
Nobody listens.
They don't.
It's also fun once you start doing them. I mean, Cliff and I did that math on the drive home from the first race. We were like, oh my gosh, what does this equal? And I was like, no, I want to really confirm this data. What does it actually equal?
Yeah, I remember that conversation now.
Yeah.
There was it was about what we were estimating. It was you had to drive really slow.
Yeah, I'll find the number.
The math supports it tremendously because even if you're doing, round numbers, I'm 2 seconds a lap faster, but you have to take 10 minutes off track. It's ridiculous. You can't make it up.
Yeah, at pit race, 1 black flag for the entire day equals 5 seconds a lap slower.
Yep.
Wow.
Second black flag equals 20 seconds per lap slower. And then third black flag equals 40 seconds per lap slower.
Then there's also a flip side of this, is that after your first black flag, to drive fast enough to account for the time you lost, you are so much more likely to get your second black flag and lose everything that it's not even worth it. So it's like the math is silly. Like you have to drive so much faster to gain 2 seconds.
Yep.
It was a fun little math project. I love nerding out on those.
Indeed. All right. So altogether, I think your race weekend went well. You guys did most of what you're aiming for. Let's talk about season in review and going into next season. What are you guys seeing as the next progression for the team?
RIP pit race. It would have
Yeah.
been really nice to have that in the early spring.
First of all, Andrew, are you all in?
Am I all in?
Uh-huh.
On the for what?
On the whole racing now.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, totally, 100%. Yeah, I already.
He already broke his microphone.
Andrew, you just broke up. We we
There
got
you
the
go.
Okay,
already.
sorry.
He's using the old radios from the first
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gargle, gargle.
Just unplug it.
Yeah, so I had rented my gear in this last race, but yeah, now I'm committed. I'm already trying to acquire everything that I need for the next one. So 100% I'm in. So excited for the next one.
You got a good team, Tim. You got a good team.
You'll be driving the
I
same
do.
lineup for your next races.
Ideally, I'd love
Mhm.
to have everyone back again. It's literally just timing and scheduling.
Are you
And then
already
also we have to
registered?
pick our races.
Oh, you haven't done that yet.
No, I narrowed it down based on drive time.
Okay.
So I looked up every race within 8 hours, at least in Lemons. There are
Mhm.
some that we could do at Mid-Ohio or something else, but those I think we might want to get a little bit more under our belt before entering some other forms of racing that are a little bit higher level. Um,
How far is
but
Gingerman?
Gingerman is 4 hours and 45 minutes.
Highly recommend.
Yeah. So yeah, it just looks really narrow.
No, it's
It's a
fine.
good track, though.
Yeah. So it's probably about the same narrowness that is Nelson's Ledges. Based on like the stuff that I've done on my sim, the tracks that are so there are 6 tracks within time, 8 hours of me, and the ones that stand out the most are New Jersey Motorsports Park, Autobahn Country Club, NCM Motorsports Park, and Summit Point, which we already did.
Hmm.
Road America looks terrifying, and Gingerman was just like a little bit narrower and like similar to Autobahn Country Club, just like
I think your best choice on those would be Gingerman or NJMP.
yeah. New Jersey Motorsports seems really friendly. Yeah, it would just be Gingerman versus NCM because they're 2 weeks away from each other. We'd have to pick one, but also this is seeing if any of these are possible for the team.
Let me be subtle again. Your choices should be New Jersey or Gingerman.
Yeah. We also have to pick how many races we want to do next year. I think I could max out at 4, but we'd have to see what the rest of the team could do. I think
What
between
about
2 and 4.
what about some HPDE practice time?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a proponent of anyone coming and to my local track, Nelson's Ledges. Hour from me, it's super easy and convenient to get to. I mean, Andrew already did.
Mid Ohio is how far?
Mid Ohio, I think, is between 2 and 3 hours away.
Vicky will be there twice this year.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. I'm going up there to go do some training events.
Nice. Yeah, their schedule seemed pretty sparse with regards to like HPD and like track day type stuff. I was really struggling to actually find stuff the last time I checked.
It's with NASA Great Lakes, so
Okay. Yeah.
They're very good.
Yeah. Also, the other thing that we couldn't do HPD is because I don't have a passenger seat.
could you?
Yeah, but it cost a fair bit of money. So it's just a matter of like getting like investing extra in that. So yeah.
Could you get the mount set up and somebody who's very pretty and sitting in front of an orange Miata that's backwards could bring a seat for you?
Maybe. I possibly. I would have to set up. Yeah, I'd probably do a bit of
It's
maybe.
basically the mounts, the seat, and the harnesses.
Yeah. So harness wouldn't be too hard. The seat mounts would be the problem because the seat rails are weird. But anyways, that's just the barrier to that. It wouldn't be horrible. It would just be like, figuring out the cost and everything.
Where's your fire bottle?
Passenger seat.
That's usually the problem.
Yeah. But while the passenger seat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not great. Okay. Something to think about, though. You got the winter.
Yeah.
It's not like
No, I think we're gonna stick with lemons for now and just track days for now. Because also
Mhm.
Nelson's Ledge is super friendly for us newbies.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was what's nice about Nelson's Ledges is Tim, when we were there, there were literally what 5 or 6 other people, so we literally had the entire place to ourselves, which was amazing. So and it's cheap, it's friendly, and they really don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
So
There's just 6 hours of open lapping.
Yeah.
For $250.
Can't beat it.
There's rumor that could be one of the ones that gets added.
So we can all stay at my house.
Yeah. We need to make some facility improvements, I think, but otherwise,
Yes, they do.
So
Well, I
we'll
think
see.
you guys did amazing. And again, the Facebook blew up on you guys.
Yeah.
I a lot of people were just like, "Hey, I don't know what you guys did, but you guys were amazing on track." So I think it's official. I think you are a full-on member of Lemons, fully accepted, and they all love you.
Yeah. It's nice to have the on-track recognition. It's also
Mm-hmm.
nice, as Cliff said earlier, to have the off-track recognition. The amount of
Mm-hmm.
people that were coming up and like we have the car rainbow, but we also had a bunch of pride flags out. We had the team name plastered
Mm-hmm.
across the windshield, Team Career Shift and Gears. You can't get more raise your flags than what we were. And this race, we had people coming up to us being like, I love seeing your visibility, love seeing that. That was my original
Mm-hmm.
goal of this team. When I attended my first race as crew, it was pretty fucking scary as a queer person showing up and being like, it's the boys club. And
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the weekend, I found the girls club. I found people that were inclusive and whatever, but it was still that I wanted to prevent anyone from having that experience that I did of
Mm-hmm.
hunting down and being afraid. Because I almost bailed after the first night. Like I almost
Mm-hmm.
bailed on that race weekend. And just to be the most obvious, hey, you can come here and exist and be authentic and do and be anything you want, and we are here for you. So like
Mm-hmm.
reducing that barrier to entry, even as small as it is,
Mm-hmm.
it still feels like a giant mountain sometimes. And so we
Mm-hmm.
were able to do that. And I actually had a lot of people message me after the race
Mm-hmm.
as well, saying how much they appreciated our team and loved seeing our car. And that was my original goal with the team, and I think we accomplished that this race.
I loved
now we
it.
Indeed.
just need to figure out how to be even more fabulous next time.
We need to get more flags to hang off of the van. We're not changing the theme on the car. We can change our theme, but we're not changing the paint job.
Yeah.
No, we need
It's a
more
beautiful
glitter,
car.
more everything.
We may do. I may have figured out how to do a rainbow glitter flake over top of it. Not expensive, so some stuff might happen.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yep.
Well, I love paddocking with you guys. I think you guys are a hoot. You guys are fun. And Andrew, your food was amazing, and especially when you brought out the coffee maker. You had a cold press.
Oh yeah, I have a big Stanley French press, 64 ounce. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was convenient.
Yeah, they brought a French press, Audra. The guys brought a French press.
The soup
Well,
was amazing as well.
Hmm.
Thank you, thank you. I love cooking for people. I'm Italian, so that's just in my blood. So
Hmm.
I appreciate it.
We
Well,
can make requests. Don't tease us.
Oh,
well, we
please do. You're
appreciated
welcome.
being
Well,
there, and you guys were fun.
Andrew, Andrew's underselling himself. I would like to make it very clear. Andrew complained about his cooking for the weekend because he wasn't able to bring anything home baked. He had spent all of the stuff that he brought, he had gotten at a grocery store. He had spent a week on the road in New Jersey before the race. So he showed up with a car packed of like stuff for work and the race. So he had to have everything pre-done a week ahead of time.
Yeah, that made it a little bit more challenging. So I'm looking forward to next time being able to make things at home ahead of time in an actual kitchen and not like a tiny like little 2 burner situation that I had in the RV. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But you guys had a great setup. That it wasn't just me. Like all the food was amazing that weekend. The Blackstone was a great idea. Whoever bought that. So yeah, a lot of good food.
Breakfast was amazing.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We-
and don't forget when didn't we have like a whole tree for our fire pit? Didn't somebody roll out like a whole tree from the woods? Yeah,
That was Bruce, I
yeah.
think.
They had a fire pit, but they needed wood, so he went off and he brought a downed tree over over and he I think he had a chainsaw and he was cutting it up for the fire pit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean, why
that's
not?
awesome.
You never
Hmm.
know what's in the magic trailer. It could
It's
be
in the
anything.
magic trailer. Anything.
That is a magic trailer.
He has everything. Well, we really appreciate having you guys on. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk to Ace, but we'll catch Ace next time.
That's right. Maybe
Mhm.
Absolutely.
maybe we
Yeah.
won't invite you on like 17 times to finally get it done the right way.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. We've scheduled and rescheduled this one at least 2 or 3 times. So
I
it
think
was just a lot of kerfuffle in
I
the
think
way.
you're being kind. I think we had to reschedule it like 4 or 5 times, and I screwed up the invitation a couple more times just because I'm an idiot, and I'm in the
My inbox was quite full.
yes. It's like, oh yeah, wait a minute, that's this year, not last year, not that. Anyway, sorry,
Hmm.
life got a little hectic. So anyway, we pulled it off. You guys pulled it off. You did wonderful. I would just like to say, just imagine how good you'll be when you stop listening to what we tell you to do and actually go out there and race like you should, as opposed to what we keep telling you to do. You'll be so much better. Stop listening to these people. They're terrible.
They're already on the way. Well on the
Exactly.
way.
Exactly.
We
I'm
do really
curious to see what
appreciate
they're
all
going
the
to do.
advice.
Oh, that's no problem. We had to take a frank assessment of our mentoring skills when we looked at the score, and it was like I think we were 40. I think you guys were like 41. Mike Marzo's team was like 43. Another team was like 44. Ryan's team. I'm like, we got to be better mentors. These people should be way better than we are. We stunk this week, but
We
you
had
guys,
so many car problems, but it was the first run for the car, so it was expected.
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, we did the if math in our head of like if we had done normal full 2 hour stints and if we had done hot pits.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
in
we
the like
ran a
20s.
flawless car. We had good lap times and we didn't have any breakdowns. We would have been up there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like
If
20s and teens, right? Somewhere in there.
Hmm.
low teens based on my math.
Yeah, that's
Based on the
Uh,
I do the
math.
math as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I've had you guys. I'm like,
Theoretically, yeah, it was like the times we were setting were not far off of the leaders.
just to make sure you're aware, when you do that math, it doesn't math when you do it for real. It just
No.
looks like it does, but it doesn't quite come to fruition, especially the first time you try. It's like all of a sudden there's this like black hole of time that goes whoosh, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that didn't work at all. We broke the car because we drove too hard or something stupid. So don't be upset if it doesn't work out the math way, but that's okay. You guys did great.
Yeah, we did. It was awesome. The team did amazing. Like I literally could not have asked for a better weekend out of
Hmm.
everyone. It truly was exceeded all expectations.
Excellent. So, and by the way, I think I was on mute before. You said that you almost quit after your first day. You weren't quitting. We weren't letting you quit.
We weren't letting you quit.
No, no, no.
We would have
This
parked
is
your
referring
car
to
in
my
front of
first.
something.
No, this was referring to my first day at a racetrack as a crew member.
Different. Okay.
The everyone, when you don't know anyone and everyone's standing around talking to each other and it's just a bunch of boys club, which is like fine. Like it's hard to break into social circles, but being a kid with nail polish, that's weird. And younger than everyone by about 20 years.
I have a feeling I know where you were. Anyway, very well. All right. Can't wait to see you guys next year.
Yeah.
New Jersey and Gingerman. Highly recommend either one. We'll be at New Jersey for sure, and Gingerman maybe.
New Jersey seems amazing. Yeah, we'll be out there next year for sure.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming on. Great time. Ladies, thanks for taking over most of it. My voice is actually still terrible, but I made it to the end. Who knew? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.